Is this a win-win for Maresca, or is this Maresca way of getting out of Chelsea? Yeah, we're gonna be discussing all of that. But hey, welcome to Famous Football. I'm your host, Nate. Let's talk football. Yeah, what I got for you today? Yeah, Maresca to City. Yeah, that one just came out today. And what does this mean for everyone? Why there is a fall out at Chelsea? Who is to be blamed for the fall out? Is it Maresca, or is it the Chelsea owner, or this the sporting directors? We're gonna be getting into all of that, and where do I think all of this come from, right? But let's not do it. But before we get into all of that, how about you hit the like, hit the subscribe, show this channel some love. It's a new channel, brand new, not necessarily brand new, but I need the love, I need the support. Thank you very much, and let's get into it. And as the video go along, you can let me know your thoughts down below about everything I'm discussing, whether you agree or you don't agree. That's what we're here for, right? Put our opinions out there. But let's get into it. First thing first, right? If you put everything that is happening with at Chelsea, right, around that is going on, right? If you start to put 1 + 1 together, it start to make sense to you, right? And then you get into it, you be like, oh my god, right? First thing first, Maresca signed a deal with George Mendes. He is, if you don't know who George Mendes is, he's also the agent of Cristiano Ronaldo, right? So he's the top geezer, right? The Portuguese, he's like what's it called? The super agent. That's how he's referred to, representing a lot of big names players out there. And Maresca signed a contract. Maresca signed with him or his agency, and then Maresca came out to say what Maresca said, right? That in 48 hours, it's been his worst 48 hours at the club. You know the comment. You know what Maresca said. You watched the press conference, or you read about it on X or somewhere, right? And then now there's also a rumor that Maresca, according to Ben Jacobs, right, that Maresca is on the short list. Or not, David Ornstein came out and said that, right? That Maresca is on the short list of candidate that Manchester City is considering as replacement for Pep Guadiola if Pep Guardiola get to leave. So now there is a possibility that Pep could leave in 2026 summer, right? I know his contract lasts to 2027, but there's a possibility he could leave 2026 summer. And now they are looking for replacement for him. And we know Pep Guardiola came out one time and said Enzo Fernandez, Enzo Maresca is a world-class manager. That's the words. Those are the words of Pep Guardiola, right? If you know if Pep Guardiola is helping someone, right, he has his own plan. That's how the men work. Half of the players that Pep Guardiola go up to talk to, yeah, he wants almost majority of them that he goes up to talk to, put his arm around them and try to coach them. There is a plan that he have to bring them to this club, right? We see him do that with Bruno Guimaraes. We see him do that with Rodrigo, and we all know there was a link with Man City and Rodrigo during the summer, right? So does this mean is because we also know Pep Guardiola will also be a key part in terms of finding his replacement once everything is settled that he's about to leave. He's going to be part of the whole process of they trying to find his replacement. Is this Pep way of saying this is the guy, right? Maresca is the guy, and then. Now, Maresca coming out to say it's been his work 48 hours at the club, and he's, to understand, is unhappy. Now, he expressed his unhappiness with that his unhappiness is as a result of the owners, right, or the board or whatever it is. Now, they bring this guy in, right. You can say all of this result to several things, right? It's not just, maybe due to the lack of form or due to the fact that they don't just trust him, right? Now, they brought in Maresca as a coach. Now, but you can also argue to understand that the owners or the board are also interfering with Maresca coaching, right? To understand, because this constant substitution that we see, or the huge changes that we see in the squad here and there, is also from the owners, right? It's a direction or an instruction from the owners, which Maresca is doing this thing. Because Maresca once said, "I would love to play my starting 11 almost every week," right? Now we also understand he's managing the injuries of some of these players, and those things, also kind of help, right? But Maresca being linked to City, does this mean it will happen? To understand, it might happen. Why do I think that? Right? The man was at City before. He worked at City. Everybody saw what Maresca did at City, right? He was with the under-21. And he was the under-21 squad, the academy. He won with them, right? When Cole Palmer was there, Liam Delap was there, right? Gettings was there. All these men, all of them were there. Now we have Cole Palmer, we have Gettings. We have Cole Palmer, Gettings, and Delap at Chelsea right now. And then he was also with them in their 2022, 2023 when they went on to win the treble, right? He was also with them as an assistant coach to Pep. So the entire City board is familiar with Maresca, and Maresca is also familiar with them. So if you look at it, he would be the perfect replacement for Pep, right? right? And other than that, if you look at the City squad right now, if you look at the Chelsea squad, the City squad is far better than the current Chelsea squad. Let's be honest. If you do a head-to-head comparison, right, they are far better. They have Erling Haaland, they have Ryan Cherki, their midfield is good, everything is good, and there's a possibility they could bring in Rodrigo, they could bring in Bruno Guimaraes, they could bring in Dumfries, as you know, all these possibilities are there as well, and they're gonna let him coach, right, in similar form that Pep Guardiola is doing, and it's also going to be part of the decision making like Pep Guardiola is. So it's not just the case that he's going there like he is at Chelsea. At Chelsea, all they want from him is to coach, and even with that, the owners are still interfering, right, with that. And then he has the possibility of going to City, where there will be less interfering, and he get to be involved in the top decision making. Now at Chelsea, he is to an extent, but not much, because if you look at it, right, the man came out and said, "I want a center back." Right, because Liverpool were my best center back is out. I need a center back. I need an experienced center back. Everybody we were linked to at some point we were linked with Bastoni, Magay, all these people. He wanted somebody. They didn't give him none of that, right? But now at City, if him get to say that, if Pep say I want so and so, right, because of this happening, they getting him that. Chelsea, they said no, right? We have to use what we have, right? And he's been using what we have. So to understand, and if you look at the result Chelsea been getting, right, Maresca been basically he have to deal with what he have, right? The costs he's been dealt with, you have to play them. You can do nothing about it, right? And that's the position he found himself in. But at City, right, that may all change. Because if he say he want because he's going into that Pep position, if he say he want X, Y, and Z, they're getting him X, Y, and Z. Because if they believe what you think is going to give them what they want in terms of trophy, in terms of competition, in terms of playing at the highest level, they're going to give it to you. As compared to Chelsea, right? They have their own plan, and they know, and they think they know what they're doing, right? So when he asks for something, they don't necessarily give it to him. So to understand, he can, you can't necessarily blame Maresca for some of the things that we've been going through, because the man asks you for things, you don't give it to him. And everybody look at the current Chelsea squad. Even if you don't know how to coach football and you know nothing about football, you also understand that Chelsea squad need all the experience they can possibly get. The current squad, no. Right, and hence the inconsistency, right? So now the manager trying to find solution to that, but the board or the sporting directors, whoever they are not necessarily helping his cause. So why does this City link seem appealing, or might be appealing to Maresca, even though there's a rumor, not necessarily rumor, there's news that Chelsea are looking to keep him, and Maresca contract runs to 2030, right? 2029, but the club has the right or clause that they can extend it for a year if they want to, right? So yeah. But if you look at all of that, why would he want to go to City? Because of that. And the current squad at City and what Pep Guardiola will believe in, right, is by far one of the best squad. If you look at them, they have by far one of the best players in almost every single position, arguably. Phil Foden, right now he's one of the best in the league right now, right, in what he's doing. Ryan Cherki, one of the best. Erling Haaland, definitely the best striker in the league right now. No argument about that, right? Donnarumma, the best goalkeeper in the world, right? The Stones, what's his name, Diaz, all of these people, Rodri, Ballon d'Or winner, right? So if he says City or Chelsea, if he's gonna choose City, right? So to understand all this that is coming out, it's not necessarily all Maresca's fault, right? Even though I also think that the Chelsea owner, maybe their hesitance of trust towards Maresca maybe may come from the fact that Maresca is also inconsistent, and Maresca can also tell them that his inconsistency is based on the fact that they refuse to give him what he asked for. So it goes both ways, right? Because if Maresca put it on a performance like against the PSG, against the Liverpool, against the Arsenal, right? Against the Barcelona, all this type of top class performance, and then you go to Leeds and then you do what you do, or what you did, right? You can also not blame them for looking at you and going, okay, I'm not quite sure, right? So, for them showing somewhat of a lack of trust. It's almost in the same thing. It's the same thing with the fan base. I cannot tell you a Chelsea fan right now that trusts Maresca 100%. Or it's definitely sitting at 75, or 80. We all sitting there, but no, I don't think anyone is absolutely at 100%. We all see what Maresca can do, right? He showed trace of Pep Guadiola, right? That, what's it called? Those bizarre way of thinking is very unusual. They do things that you wouldn't want to do, right? It's risky, right? It's 100% risky, but when it works, it's genius. We're looking at Rich James right now. We're looking at Malo Gusto right now. We're looking at other players and what's happening with them, right? And we're seeing, okay, this guy, to understand, he know what he's doing. And there are certain times we look at him, was like, this brother is not ready, right? So Maresca to say, is this Maresca way of saying I want out with everything that is going on, especially the link with City, with him coaching that current City squad? Is this Maresca way of saying I want out, or he's gonna leave? Because we see this day in day out, right? Chelsea Bowl, they're not going to bring in an experienced manager, right? A manager that has already made name for themselves. They will not bring in, what's it called? A Jose Mourinho. They're not going to bring in a Thomas Tuchel. They're not going to bring in Luis Enrique. They're not going to bring in those people, because half of the things they be doing, nobody, an experienced manager, right, that have made name for themselves, will not tolerate those things. You will not tolerate you telling me the ball how to coach, right? Meanwhile, that's the job you brought me here to do, and you're going to interfere with that. They're not going to tolerate it. Hence, we're going to be going after a manager like Enzo Maresca, for instance, that have to come and have something to prove. So then they have to listen to him. They have to, listen to him. They have to listen to the board and all of that. We're going after the lack of Thomas Frank. We're going Liam Rosenier, right? The Strasbourg coach. I know I'm butchering his name, but we're looking at him right now as potential replacement for Maresca. What does this mean? Where are we going? Because now, if you sack Maresca, yeah, let's be honest. What message is this going to send, right? Send to the players? They're not looking serious. Because we found a manager that we, to understand, he's not there yet. He's not 100%. The squad is building something with him. They're all learning together. Now, it's tough on every single one of us, but we manage it and we getting along. Now, if you sack this man and bring in Liam Rosenier, it's like we are starting over, because he's even younger than Maresca, less experienced than Maresca, and what is going on, right? And he have to coach the like of Cole Palmer. He have to coach the like of Esteva, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, all these, they are right now big name players in world football. So now you need to bring somebody in, or leave Maresca where he is, that will be able to manage it, because it's not so much about coaching them or knowing the tactics. It's also being able to manage these players. That's why when you look at some of the best managers in the world, one thing they possess is also being able to manage these big names players, because it's very important. Or otherwise, it's like it's an entire disruption in your team or in your squad. That's why most managers, if you look at them, they try to avoid all of these big name players, because if you don't do it, it's a disruption in your entire squad. You can't, we can't keep going down this right? Because Poch left because of the same thing. Poch wanted to keep Chalobah and Gallagher in the squad, but they didn't want to. And I understand, right? Because the way when they came in, they were spending, they needed to balance that book in terms of the FFP rules. So now they needed a pure profit, because those two were academy grown, and when you sell them, it's pure profit. So I understand, but it's like that's what the managers want. So you also have to listen to him, because that's his job. Right? If you want certain things for him, you also have to provide what he's asking you for. You cannot hire the man and tell the man, okay, you need this to do that, what I want you to do, but I cannot give you what you're asking for. It doesn't make sense. Right? You want the man to do certain things for you, and the man is telling you, okay, I need that too, and you tell the man, I cannot give you that too. How are you going to get the job done? And I think it's basically the same thing with Maresca. And I think Maresca came in thinking maybe he might be able to handle this whole thing with the Chelsea board, right? But maybe he himself is getting fed up with the whole thing, right? He's not getting what he wants. He's not, he wants to compete after, competing at the highest level. I think he wants to do that. And with the squad he have, maybe he also feel like they're holding him down to an extent, right? I honestly don't think that, but they're where we are, right? So we'll see what happened with that. Maresca to say that, listen, if the man take the job, nobody can blame him for it. But we also know, like I said, Chelsea wants to keep him. So we'll see, right, what Chelsea can do. But now, this kind of put Maresca in a very good position, in the sense that it's a win-win situation for Maresca. And when I say a win-win, because if Chelsea doesn't comply with Maresca, he can go to City. right? Where he get what he wants, or Chelsea comply. So it's almost like a win-win situation for him, except something out of the blue happen where he lose on both ends, because maybe say he decide to go with somebody else and then Chelsea fire him and go for someone else as well. Then maybe Maresca lose on both ends. But even with that, I think Maresca will still possibly get a better job somewhere. Juventus, for instance, right? So listen, let me know your thoughts about that. And much appreciated. Thank you very much. Don't forget again, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you very much. See you later. Cheers.